Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Round one. Fight!
$6 trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country twice. And it's really a shame. And it's politicians like Secretary Clinton anyone's ever seen. You look at the Middle East, it's a total mess. Under your direction to a large extent. Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton, but we have no leadership. And honestly, that starts with Secretary Clinton.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay. I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
Well, that's go to the fact checkers. Get to work.
You are unpacking a lot here.
I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30 years.
I have, well, not quite that long. A man who can be provoked by a tweet should not have his fingers anywhere near the nuclear codes.
Mr. Trump,
typical politician, all talk, no action.
Vladimir Putin, but Putin is playing a really tough, long game here. And one of the things he's done is to let loose cyber attackers to hack into government files, to hack into personal files, hack into the Democratic National Committee.
I don't think anybody knows it was Russia that broke into the DNC. She's saying Russia, 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 but maybe it was. I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay? You don't know who broke in to DNC, but what did we learn with DNC? We learned that Bernie Sanders was taken advantage of by your people. And I don't believe that Hillary has the stamina.
Let's let her respond.
Well, as soon as he travels to 112 countries and negotiates a peace deal, a ceasefire, a release of dissidents, an opening of new opportunities in nations around the world, or even spends 11 hours testifying in front of a congressional committee, he can talk to me about stamina.
The world.
You know, I made a mistake using a private email.
That's for sure.
And if I had to do it over again, I would obviously do it differently. But I'm not going to make any excuses. It was a mistake, and I take responsibility for that. And I take responsibility for that. And I take responsibility for that.
We have a great many upcoming publications. The material that WikiLeaks is going to publish before the end of the year is of the U.S. electoral process.
A new day, well, new WikiLeaks bombshell. This one today, that DNC interim chairman, Donna Brazile, provided debate and town hall questions to the Clinton campaign before the actual.
The Democratic National Committee, as Secretary Clinton alluded to tonight, was a victim of a cybercrime.
We've heard this, but what about you passing a question to Hillary Clinton's campaign, the town hall before?
Trump badger women. You're welcome.
Yes, a journalist asking a question is badgering you.
Well, shortly after today's Wiki shocker, Donna Brazile actually resigned from her role as CNN contributor. CNN released a statement in part saying, we are completely uncomfortable with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor.
Round 2.
Each of them came here with questions they want to ask, and we saw those questions for the first time this morning. Anderson and I and our team from ABC and CNN are the only ones who have seen them. This question involves WikiLeaks' release of purported excerpts of Secretary Clinton's paid speeches, which she has refused to release, and one line in particular in which you, Secretary Clinton, purportedly say you need both a public and private position on certain issues. So, 2 from Virginia asks, is it okay for politicians to be two-faced? Secretary Clinton, well, your 2 minutes.
Right. As I recall, that was something I said about Abraham Lincoln.
Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I haven't. Okay, Honest Abe. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. That's a big, big difference. We're talking about some difference.
You describe kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals.
Grab them by the pussy?
That is sexual assault. You brag that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it.
But he never apologizes for anything to anyone.
And all you have to do is take a look at WikiLeaks and just see what they said about Bernie Sanders. And I was so surprised to see him sign on with the devil. But for you to say that there was nothing wrong with you deleting 39,000 emails, again, you should be ashamed of yourself, what you did. And this is after getting a subpoena from the United States Congress.
We have to move.
And again, Bernie Sanders, it's really bad judgment.
You said that half of Donald Trump's supporters are, quote, deplorables, racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic. You later said you regretted saying half. You didn't express regret for using the term deplorables. To Mr. Carter's question, how can you unite a country if you've written off tens of millions of Americans?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Fatality.
My question to both of you is, regardless of the current rhetoric, would either of you name one positive thing that you respect in one another?
I will say this about Hillary. She doesn't quit. She doesn't give up. I respect that. I tell it like it is. She's a fighter. I disagree with much of what she's fighting for. I do disagree with her judgment in many cases. But she does fight hard, and she doesn't quit, and she doesn't give up. And I consider that to be a very good trait.
We have mentally ill people that we pay to do shit. Make no mistake. If you're there and you're protesting and you do these actions, you will be attacked at Trump rallies. That's what we know. So that's part of the process of eliciting the reaction. The whole point of it is we know that Trump's people will freak the fuck out. His security team will freak out, and his supporters will lose their shit.
Final round.
We have no country if we have no border. As you know, the Border Patrol agents, 16,500 plus ICE last week, endorsed me. First time they've ever endorsed a candidate. With all of the problems going on in the world, many of the problems caused by Hillary Clinton and by Barack Obama, all of the problems, their single biggest problem is heroin that pours across our southern borders, just pouring and destroying their youth. It's poisoning the blood of their youth and plenty of other people. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
When it comes to the wall that Donald talks about building, he went to Mexico. He had a meeting with the Mexican president. Didn't even raise it. He choked.
Hillary Clinton wanted the wall. Hillary Clinton fought for the wall in 2006 or thereabouts. Now, she never gets anything done, so naturally the wall wasn't built. Big league, big league, big league. And you will have a disaster with your open borders. But what she doesn't say is that President Obama has deported millions and millions of people just the way
Secretary
it is.
Clinton, I want to...
We will not have open borders.
Well, let me
that is a rank mischaracterization.
Secretary Clinton.
Shut your fucking face.
Ronald Reagan was the last president to sign immigration.
Hey, lady, shut up!
Well.
Secretary Clinton, I want to clear up your position on this issue because in a speech you gave to a Brazilian bank for which you were paid $225,000, we've learned from the WikiLeaks that you said this, and I want to quote, "My dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders." So that's the question. That's the question. Please quiet, everybody. Is that your dream, open borders?
The Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks. Those are the questions we need answered. We've never had anything like this happen in any of our elections before.
That was a great pivot off the fact that she wants open borders, okay? How did we get onto Putin? She has been outsmarted and outplayed worse than anybody I've ever seen in any government whatsoever. She gave us ISIS. I was wondering what happened with my rally in Chicago and other rallies where we had such violence. She's the one in Obama that caused the violence.
He is the first candidate ever to run for president in the last 40-plus years who has not released his tax returns. Advocated. We have undocumented immigrants in America who are paying more federal income tax than a billionaire. I find that
let me just tell you very
astonishing.
Simply, you should have changed the law when you were a United States Senator. If you don't like it, because your donors and your special interests are doing the same thing as I do, except even more so. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing. The New York Times actually wrote an article about it that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
The Clinton campaign is still watching this handful of states that remain out there. Well, but I can tell you, optimism among all Democrats supporters here has essentially faded.
The scene here, Brian, inside the Javits Center. A number of people have left in tears. There is stunned disbelief as these results, as they come in earlier in the evening.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time.
Can you give us a question? Since you're Mr. President-elect,
Mr.
President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
you are
is
attacking our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us a
is
chance to
terrible.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you
Quiet.
state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking a
categorically,
question.
Mr.
Don't be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm
us a
not gonna give you
question?
I'm not going to give you a
Can
question.
you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
Go ahead.
can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
you.